Thank you so very much for joining us. This is still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our main conversation for today. The Apapa Command of the Nigeria Customs Service has set a new daily revenue record of 20.1 billion naira, just 24 hours after Comptroller Emmanuel Oshoba assumed leadership. The milestone achieved using the Unified Customs Management System, which is christened B Odogu, surpasses the previous records of the 18 billion in 24 hours. In a statement, the command's PRO Tunde Ayagbalo praised the achievements as a proof of dedication and hard work, urging officers to aim even higher. Comptroller Oshoba described the record as just the beginning, stating, "It is not time to celebrate yet. Clapping means taking your hands off work." He also emphasized the importance of Biodogu in modernizing customs operations and strengthening Nigeria's position in African trade. I still have with me Emeka Madunago. Thank you so very much, Emeka.
Thank you very much.
All right, so I do not know, should we start with the congratulatory clap yet again for the customs, or should we cry? Because every growing economy would rather be happy that they are making money. The customs should be making money from exports, not from imports. But in this regard, we are excited. We're making 20 billion a day from importation. So
no, not a day. He said one day.
Yes,
just one day.
in 24 hours. Yes. So it means that our hard-earned money goes out to bring in goods. So who is losing? Are we deceiving ourselves? It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul at this point, isn't it?
No, I wouldn't look at it that way, because the Nigeria the customs in any country is a vital organ of government. It's a vital unit in government, and so it's expected to generate revenue, whether from both imports and exports.
But which
so
is more important for economic growth?
No, I will come to it. You see, let us not mix issues.
Okay.
Imports can be good. America, the United States of America, as big as the economy is, they are one of the largest importers in the world. Go and fact check.
Which Donald Trump wants to reverse.
No, can he do that? He can. Did you see? Political sloganeering is different from reality on the ground. Before you start setting up factories in the United States, he will be out of power now. Factories are not things you just come one day and say. Sometimes a factory can take 5 years for you to set up. 3 years, 5 years for you to set up. It's not about slogan. Where are the people who will do the work? Where are the people? What's the cost of labor? In the United States, cost of labor is higher than in China, in Vietnam, in Pakistan, in Nigeria. So it's not about sloganeering, blah, 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 blah. Because at the end of the day, the immigrants that you are chasing away are the ones who, will do that factory work. But permit me to, I just digress.
Yes, it's very important. That
now, coming back to the issue at hand, I congratulate the controller. I congratulate him. They have been doing well, because one thing I noticed is that in recent years, the different controllers of customs have been, it's like they've been in a competition, trying to, even the one at on air. But, of course, I receive updates, news updates from them and all of that. And, of course, they are doing a very good job. They're working hard. So, whether imports or exports, the point is this. Exports are important, no doubt about that.
Okay.
It's good to export and then boost your foreign reserves. But that's not the only source of boosting your foreign reserves. You have remittances, you have various other things. The key is this: whatever organ of government is bringing in money should do it in an efficient manner. Like the trade facilitation, like the trade facilitation, the Unified Customs Management System, they call Biodogu, that they've been using. Yes, to simplify all these things and to make sure that you reduce revenue leakages, which is good. But the thing is that there's still a lot of work to be done. There's still a lot of work to be done. And so...
so when you say there's so much work to be done, is it on what ends now? Is it to cover up any loose ends.
Yes.
Loose ends
Yes,
in what
yes,
areas now?
yes. In terms of you still have corruption in the system.
Oh, okay.
You still have, different infractions in the system from, stakeholders in the system. These things are still there, so there is still much work to be done. You talked about exports. Yes. It is very important for us to keep the economy running, for us to scale the activities in the economy. If you look at, the GDP of Nigeria, it's about 300 something, trillion, 372 trillion or so. But out of GDP, 22 production, industrial production is 22.1 or 2%. Yes. It's around 22%. Now, if you want to scale exports, you should be talking of industrial production going as high as 40%. But right now, the highest earner for GDP is services.
Because we make so much money, or the custom is congratulating itself because they make so much money from import. And when we bring in such import, it goes to servicing because
but money also goes out. But people are also exporting.
The products we bring in, ends up through services, distribution and all.
Yes.
Which is why
we for the economy. No, we cannot. You know what?
What use then is it if you're talking about growing our GDP?
I will not be fair. Yes. Honestly, I try to be as honest as possible in my commentary. I will not be fair if I try to demean the efforts of these hardworking officers. Whatever it is, I will only encourage them to continue to do better. But there shouldn't be complacency, because there's the danger of saying, okay, I made 20.1 billion. And then if you remove your eyes from the ball, if you let the ball drop, you can see yourself dropping. Yes. And then again, let's look at it. We are coming, we are heading into the Yuletide season. I'm looking at things that could have facilitated. We are heading into the Yuletide season. Don't forget that the federal government, that the Tinubu administration ordered food imports. Now, the same Tinubu administration, the same President Tinubu has given an order that food prices, that effort should be made to crash price of food. So that also means
how is that
more importation.
So,
more importation.
Okay, so possibly the 20 billion must have been achieved to
yes. I mean, because rice is a staple we consume so much in Nigeria. And we have a lot of imported rice around. So if there are ships at the port still offloading rice, offloading petroleum products, offloading flour, offloading, a lot of other things that we use, offloading used vehicles, Tokumbo vehicles, because these are among our highest imports. Yeah. If there are ships offloading, of course, you don't expect that when the president said food should be imported, that everything came at the same time. No. So maybe there has been an uptick in importation, in, offloading of ships, and take note that the Apapa port is the busiest port in Nigeria. Yeah. The other ports are crying, even Lekki Deep Sea Port. They're already crying.
That nothing goes there.
No, they are crying that they want more business to come in. They want to also increase their revenue because there's pressure on all of them to perform.
Okay.
So, now, it is not unusual. Permit me to use this term. It is not, with due respect to them, without any prejudice. Yeah. It is not unusual that this kind of uptick in revenue is coming from Apapa ports. No. I'm not. If it came from maybe Lekki Deep Sea Port, or from the Delta ports, Sapele, Warri, and all those ports there, or from Port Harcourt, or from One, because One is mainly about exports. Okay. If it came from One, I would say, okay, that is good though. But what it means is that we are recording a lot of revenue in terms of excise duties, But be that as it may, also look at it. This is in Naira, 20.1 billion. I've not had time to do the conversion. But you see, it is still not a lot of money. Because part of it is this. You have the aspect of collection, cost of collection. That has remained a big problem.
Because it's actually less than $13 million.
So, by the time you remove cost of collecting that revenue, how much will be remain? It's not. We don't have a revenue problem in Nigeria. We don't have a revenue problem. Look, if government can be creative, there is money you can generate from different places. You know, I'm not the advisor. They are not paying me to advise them. So let them work it out. You know, they have capable people in their government to work it out. But what I'm saying is that as an independent observer, there are a lot of areas from where government can make money in this country. I'm not talking of taxes. I'm talking of, you know, low-hanging fruits. Part of our daily activities that you can even boost daily activities. If you can create a favorable environment for production, for investment, you know, you travel to different countries looking for foreign direct investment. What about local direct investment? You see government demolishing buildings, demolishing markets, and all of that. Yeah. Meanwhile, the key driver of the Nigerian economy is the informal sector. So what are you doing to onboard the informal sector, for instance, into the banking system, to onboard into the taxation system, to onboard it into, you know, working as a major stakeholder in developing infrastructure? What are you doing in those areas? Now that is where the problem comes. Because
Emeka, I was very sad, you know, a couple of months back, close to like a year now, when the government, when the Lagos State government demolished the Abiola market in Agege.
What about Alabarago?
In Agege, where it was supposed to be like the new Ariaria shoe market. All right, I went there sometimes and I was very excited how that young people were beginning to become entrepreneurial. But the Lagos State government with Agege local government area demolished that. Now the place now is being turned to an estate. Of what economic value?
That's what
really?
I'm talking. That's
some of these things.
That's why you see people latching onto things like this. You know, that's why you see people latching onto things like this. And when you talk about revenue, is it potential revenue or actual collected revenue? Then what about cost of collection? Because they are entitled to withhold a part of the money, you know, as cost of collection. So how much is remaining? It's not just like saying that, okay, a vehicle has the potential to carry maybe 3 tons or 10 tons of goods, has the potential, you know, and then one day it actually carried 10 tons, you know, but thereafter what happened? So there must be a pattern, and it should not be all of this idea of just, you know, happenstances, looking for miracles. You know, you don't run government that way. There has to be a pathway to prosperity, a pathway that, okay, because we're doing this, this is what we're expecting. And then to align with what you said, you know, we need to have more exports. We need to have more exports. We had the Africa Growth and Opportunities Act. What did we do with it? I was in the United States. I went to Walmart. I was seeing textiles, you know, attires from Brazil, from El Salvador. What is the size of El Salvador? It's one small country. I don't know how many states El Salvador is bigger than in Nigeria. How many Nigerian states El Salvador is bigger than? But they had their goods on display in Walmart. Then, what did we do with it? Nothing. You had the minimis, $800, you know, which had been there that you could export goods, you could send goods to the United States as long as they were not more than $800 in value. Okay. You know, that's what they call de minimis, minimal value. It has been there for many years. What did we do with it? Now Donald Trump has scrapped it. It was scrapped just, I think, on Friday last week. And that was a major boost to SMEs. A lot of Nigerian businesses made use of it. Now you have to pay through your nose to export even small items. To export to the UK. Per kg is 3,500, between 3,500 and 4,000. You know. That is if he's going by cargo, 10 days. But if it's going by express delivery overnight, it's 35,000 naira per kg. When you put down 35,000 naira per kg, how much are you expecting back? How much are you expecting? So what it means is that the government should make conscious effort, deliberate efforts to, help small businesses, to remain in business and to also expand, and bring in more small businesses, Yes, Nigeria some days ago set up their own de minimis, $300 in value, which is about $500,000 naira. Well, we might say it's small, but sincerely speaking, at least it is a step in the right direction, so that Nigerians can export, can import, 300, things of not more than $300, but without paying import duty.
Oh, okay.
So when you talk of 20.1 billion, you also have to take into cognizance that in the next, going forward into the future, this will diminish. Because as long as there is no under-invoicing, and these small goods are coming in. So what it means, like the government said that for an individual, it should not be more than 4 times in a year.
Okay.
So that means if we are in a cooperative, for instance, and we are maybe 100, so you have 4, I have 4. 4 times 100 is 400, right? So that's $300 per person. $300, right? $300 times 100. That is $30,000. You understand? Times 4. Times 4. That's $120,000 for just one group of people. Then by the time you now have more people like that, look at how much that the Nigerian government will be losing from import duties. But you are doing this in order to boost the economy. So there are these things, here and there. But the thing is this. You've got to make sure that you have, that's one of the drawbacks of this absence of ambassadors. We don't have ambassadors, and it's trouble, it's worrisome. Because for me, I felt that, we should have had ambassadors, even if it is 50 countries. Even if it's to 50 countries, we could match some diplomatic missions. But not having ambassadors at all, it is not helping us. Because we don't have people who are there, who are constantly, pushing our interests. Because let me tell you, diplomatic relations are basically about trade. Christopher Columbus and all those Mungo Park and all those explorers we learnt about, in secondary school, they were basically pushing trade.
Yeah.
They were not tourists.
Yeah, because the buying of Alaska, from Russia by the United States was because there was someone who could think through to understand the future value.
Yes.
And today, United States is reaping the dividends while Russia is regretting for selling Alaska.
Now, the United States used the first mover advantage. The first mover advantage. Now, that is one advantage that the Nigerian government continues to overlook in terms of Lagos. Lagos ought to have had a first mover advantage. Because Lagos would have become a nation of its own, just like Hong Kong.
Yeah.
But what happened? I don't know how the decision was made in the colonial, system then to merge Lagos and the Southern Protectorate with the Northern Protectorate, and in the amalgamation of January 1, 1914, the amalgamation. Otherwise, Lagos would have been a nation of its own. If Lagos had been a nation of its own, there would have been, I'm sure Lagos would be one of the leading nations of Africa. Just like Mauritius. Just like Cape Verde.
Yes.
Seychelles and all those small, island nations. Lagos would have been an island nation. It would have been one of the most vibrant island nations in the world. The Southern Protectorate would have been, the Northern Protectorate would have also, thrived. Because, look at today. You have a rail line from Daura to Niamey in Niger. France also started building a rail line from Lomé in Togo to Niger Republic. So what it means is that interests, there are global interests are looking for new places,
New
where
frontiers.
they can, new frontiers, thank you, where they can, get cheaper raw materials. That's why the United States, has shown interest in Ukraine, in the Russia-Ukraine war. That's why it has shown interest in the war in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and, name it here and there. So the sad thing was that Nigeria, we were going to different places and fighting wars without behaving like the colonial authorities then, without taking, a trade ambassadors along. After ECOMOG, for instance, landed in Sierra Leone and landed in Liberia, they had rubber that would have been of benefit to Nigeria. I'm not talking of shipping the assets, but we could have also been major players, not leaving the field for the United States, China, Russia to jump in after we had sacrificed our countrymen,
Because it's very similar to what Paul Kagame and Museveni, did by installing Kabila as the DRC leader.
Well, where is Nigeria?
Because they had interest in the raw materials.
Where is Nigeria? Where is Nigeria? You remember that Agu Ironsi, who was the first military head of state of Nigeria, commanded the UN peacekeeping force in 1960 in Congo. Agu Ironsi, Major General JTU Agu Ironsi, he commanded the UN force. What did we get from there? Nothing. We jumped over the DRC and we're looking at Southern Africa. We invested a lot of money, all those areas got independence. But where did he leave Nigeria? Where did he leave us? And we're still carrying on that policy till today. Macron, that President Tinubu went to visit in the Sham LIC. Macron was here. He was at the Africa Shrine. Was it 2 years ago? He was here. So why not bring Macron on a state visit? You keep going to France. Let Macron reciprocate by coming on a state visit here. Because look at right now, the French economy is in a mess.
Yes.
Then they're in trouble. So France will actually be desperate.
Oh, so that's the reason possibly he is becoming unnecessarily friendly with Nigeria and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Now that is what I'm talking about. Yeah. Economic diplomacy. France is in trouble. They need help. Senegal has kicked them out. Niger has kicked them out. Burkina Faso has kicked them out. Mali has kicked them out. And other African countries, Chad is talking of kicking them out. So they need friends. So what you need to do is tell Macron to come here. Organize a Franco-African summit.
Headed by Nigeria.
To be held in Abuja.
Yeah.
A Franco-African summit. Organize it. Bring Macron here. Bring African leaders, even if all of them don't attend. Some will send representatives. Yeah. Bring them here. Let France come and sell his agenda. You will be insulted or you'll be derided, but people will still show interest. And then get Macron to sign some agreements. Get Macron to give some concessions. When he gives some concessions, you will be the key driver and the major beneficiary. But every time you have a Russia-African summit, you run to Moscow. African nation run to Moscow. US-African summit, you run to Washington, D.C. All kinds of countries are holding some. That is shameful.
Emeka, do we need a businessman as the nation's president at this point? Or is it overhyped to demand for such? Because if we talk about people who understand macro economics and how they can better shape the economy of Nigeria, macrocosm, Anambra would have had opportunity with Chukwuma Soludo, who understand it better, but Anambra is
No. I would disagree with that. I don't understand what better. Peter Obi had a better understanding. Because Peter Obi tells you he's a trader. And Anambra people, basically, Anambra economy is based on buying and selling. Yes. So, he's that kind of person that you needed, the Anambra State needed to not a professor who will be blowing grammar. Because that is the problem that Soludo has. With due respect to him, he has a problem with connecting with the everyday activities in Anambra.
Feeling the pulse of the people.
And so when he now tries to, let me try and, come to the level of the people, he begins to say things and do things that people wonder, but you're a professor. Why should you do this? So you need somebody. President Bola Tinubu is a businessman. Let me give them
what type of businessman? Because it's very important that we say all of this, because he seems not to connect. He seems not to connect to the lowest of us.
Yeah,
so what that makes him a good businessman? That is
because his administration is leaning towards the World Bank and the IMF, who are Bretton Woods institutions, Washingtonian institutions, who are not on ground to see what is going on. I tell you what, you have conditional cash transfers from IMF. Instead of telling government, give people 10,000 naira a month, take that money and put into health insurance. Put that money into health insurance so that people with a card can go to hospital and get free treatment based on that conditional cash transfer. Because they say health is wealth. Put that money into education so that truly there can be subsidy. You can, since you want to run away from subsidy, you can augment, you can augment flows to education. He has been doing it. Like I heard that he gave 3 billion to governors for relief projects. That he has given another credit alert to governors for health. And governors are keeping quiet. And he's watching all these abuses, all these infractions. So, what am I saying? I want to give them an advice. If they are watching this program, let me give them an advice. Since Daniel Bwala, one of the president's aides, media aides, has said that it's a paucity of funds that has made it's difficult for the president to appoint ambassadors. Let them appoint honorary ambassadors. You have some countries who have honorary ambassadors to Nigeria. What do? They take a Nigerian businessman, right? I'm just following along what you talked about, businessmen, being in government. Take a businessman. Tinubu is friends with Gilbert Chaguri, who has investments in Nigeria. Why don't make him the honorary ambassador to France and some other nations? Yeah, people will shout, you're this, but when people begin to see results, they'll say, okay, let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance. Yes.
Because that's exactly what Mahama of Ghana has done. The current ambassador, Ghanaian ambassador to South Korea, is a South Korean.
Yes. You have Chinese. Take one Chinese man.
So it's easy for him to relate with his people and bring the dividends to Ghana.
You have Chinese. Take Chinese people and say, okay, if you bring a business, FDI of, let's say, whatever, you will get a percentage of it. Businessmen they are looking for profit. And there are a lot of businessmen here and there, So you go and say, okay, be an honorary consul. You go to China, in the city of Guangzhou. You have Nigerians who are even over there. There are Nigerians who marry Chinese over there. Okay, because of the volume of your business, be our honorary consul here. Nigeria, no, be an honorary consul here. You go to different places in China. You do that. You go to the United States. There are Nigerians who have lived there. You have Adebayo Ogunlesi, who was an honorary advisor to President Obasanjo. In the first term of President Donald Trump of the United States, he was an advisor, an economic advisor to Donald Trump in his first term. Go to Adebayo Ogunlesi. Go to the global. Think global, act local. That should be their mantra. Think global, act local. So you go to somewhere like Adebayo Ogunlesi and say, look, we're in trouble, no? We're in trouble in this country. We're heavily indebted. We're operating deficit budgets and all of that. What you need to do for us, see our budget projection. See what and what and what and what. He will give you his terms and conditions. And then you will give me your own terms and conditions. At the end of the day, it will be a win-win situation. And then if within 2 years, he can deliver on set targets, what are we talking about? He will make money. You make money. That is the essence. Let's leave all this noise we make, politics, this one, that one. Look, if money is flowing in, that is what matters. Though. In every home, as long as there's food on the table. Look, the man will retain his respect. He will retain his respect as long as there's food on the table. Yes, when it's time to pay school fees, the man pays school fees. Yeah. Yes. Now, if the man is a smart businessman, he will have peace in his home. Yeah. He will have respect in his home. And that is what Nigerians want. to appoint honorary ambassadors, honorary consuls around the world. This is the time to think global. This is the time to get, if Abike Dabiri cannot do it as the head of NITCOM, put somebody who is business-minded to go from country to country. Look at how bad it is. We can't even afford to run our missions. Okay, you be our ambassador here.
Because Emeka was very, very excited when Very Dark Man visited Ghana. Just recently.
I saw the video.
Yes, and had a one-on-one talk with the real people.
That is what I'm saying.
I understood what the problem is. This is what Abike Dabiri has failed.
Do you know? No. I saw a report yesterday that they are now thinking along that line.
Okay, they are now thinking along the line.
Now, let me tell you. One other thing that President Tinubu can do. You see, I've been giving them advice. They are not paying me. Okay, no problem. Every Nigerian outside this country should be an ambassador. An ambassador of brand Nigeria. Just like what the late Professor Dorakuri, God bless her soul, what she was doing, the campaign, embark on a brand Nigeria campaign.
But I just hope not the Reno mockery type.
No,
that is funny.
We're talking of serious. No,
because he has always said brand Nigeria. He wears Nigerian clothes.
No, that's not what we're talking.
But his rhetoric.
How much is he bringing? How much is he bringing?
What he preaches.
When a company gives endorsements to footballers and celebrities, it's because there's expectation of revenue. So even if it's Reno mockery, no.
Okay.
Even if you want to bring Reno mockery, there must be terms and conditions. There must be an ROI, a return on investment. It's not about just jumping up and down. No. Kaduna Abuja Highway is safe. That is not what we're asking you. What we are telling you is this: look for those opportunities. Look at, you see Nigerians in diaspora, that their remittances are high. Now, why not encourage them? Get people who will market these incentives to them. Incentives in the bond market, because there are many who have invested in real estate and they've lost money. Yeah. So tell them that, okay, you can invest, to be on the safer side, invest in bonds in Nigeria, invest in treasury bills. That, okay, you can actually, these are the companies these are the banks and finance houses, discount houses that are approved by government. You can invest in them, and all of that you get your returns. These are stocks. The stock capital market is doing well. You can invest in stocks and all of those things. So instead of just sending money for welfare, also send in some money that can be invested. So for instance, if you say you want to scale health insurance, right? Okay, you make your health insurance, take your health insurance to the capital market. That's okay. Instead of sending 100,000, mama wants to go for checkup, you send 100,000. Papa wants to go for a surgery, you send 1 million. Instead of doing that, invest in the health insurance scheme so that we can bring in more Nigerians into the health insurance scheme. So if we have 90% coverage in health insurance, you know what that means? People can go to hospital free. Because if all of us put 10,000 a year, let's say 1,000 a month, 10,000 naira a year, 10,000 naira every year, multiply that by 100 million, and we're 230 million. So let me even be more optimistic, overly optimistic. Let's say we have 170 million Nigerians, or we have 200 million Nigerians in health insurance. Right? Putting in just 10,000 naira every year. Just 10,000. Do you know how much that is? What is our GDP? What is the size of our budget?
It's trillions, actually.
So when you do that, do you know what? People can go to hospital. You can now take from it and solve the issue of drugs, local production of drugs. Pharmaceutical companies will also be able to tap from it. Because from the pool of funds, like all these pension fund administrators, they invest pension funds in the capital market and different instruments, money market instruments. Take the health sector there. Take the educational sector there. Take all of these things there. so that money, it will not just be idle money, just about bring money, let us buy bulb, let us fix. There will be a pool of funds because money will keep working. There will be a revolving pool of funds. Appoint Nigerians abroad as your honorary ambassadors. Not based on tribe, because that is where you will just destroy everything.
Is, yeah.
Appoint honorary ambassadors. Now, when you do all of that, I'm telling you, you will gain traction for your economy. Because, by the way, look at what is FDI. Do you know remittances from Nigerians abroad have overtaken FDI?
Yeah.
They've overtaken FDI. So what does that tell you? Make good use of your people abroad. Let them be your brand ambassadors. Let them bring in more money into Nigeria. But actually have, places where this money can go into to generate revenue for the economy. And that way, you will solve your economic problems.
Very true, Emeka. Of course, just like Emeka said, he's happy with what the Nigerian custom have achieved of 20.1 billion in just 24 hours. But of course, there are still other opportunities the government can make money from, just like everything he talked about. But the issue is, how are we able to take advantage of this many opportunities for our good? That is the big question. And we have to leave it at this point. Emeka, thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, people, that's just the time we have. I'd love to say thank you for making this a date. Please do well to visit us. You can find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Ikwebike. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.